I'm sitting here in my kitchen holding these papers that changed everything. The documents for the home my son Darius bought with my life savings. My hands are trembling, not from anger, but from a sadness so deep it hurts to breathe. I've just learned something I never could have imagined. My bedroom door is half open, and I can hear every word of the phone call Darius is having with his wife, Tanya. His voice is full of excitement, planning their future. Our future. Or rather, their future. Yeah, baby. Everything's all done. The papers came in this morning. The house is officially ours. I hear him laugh. That same laugh that once filled me with such joy when he was a boy. Your mama is going to be so happy to live with us. Finally, Mrs. Porter will have her own room with a view of the yard, just like she always wanted. My heart freezes. Mrs. Porter, his mother-in-law, Tanya's mother, is going to live in the house I paid for. The house where I thought I'd have my place, my space, my family. And me, Darius? I whisper out loud, knowing he can't hear me. I keep listening. Nah, baby. We already talked about this. My mom's fine in her apartment. Besides, you know how she is. She always finds something to fuss about. It's better this way. More peaceful for everyone. Us, the kids, and your mom. A real family. A real family. The words stab my chest like icy needles. I, who gave up my entire savings, who sold my mother's silver bracelet, who risked my peace of mind so he could have this home. I'm not part of their real family. I close my eyes, and memories crash over me like waves. It was 8 months ago when Darius came to my place with that sad puppy dog face he always puts on when he needs something. He sat exactly where his phone is now at this kitchen table and told me his dream. Mama, I found the perfect home. It's everything Tanya and I ever wanted. 3 bedrooms, a little yard for the kids in a quiet neighborhood. But I need your help. I just need $18,500 for the down payment. I promise I'll pay you back in 2 years, Mama. And of course, you'll always have a place with us. You'll always have a place with us. Those were his exact words. I remember them because I wrote them down that night in my notebook. I was so excited I couldn't sleep. Finally, after years of feeling like a guest in my son's life, I'd have a home where I could grow old, surrounded by the laughter of my grandchildren, family dinners, and warm holiday nights. Darius, baby, did you tell your mom about the plans yet? Tanya's voice cuts through the phone like a knife. What plans, baby? The plans? That she's not moving in with us? That the house is just for the 3 of us adults and the kids? You know, my mum needs her peace. And we already talked about how your mum can be hard to live with. Hard to live with. I, who have lived 70 years without troubling a soul, who raised this man on my own after his father disappeared, who worked double shifts to pay for college, who never asked for anything in return. I'm hard to live with. No, I haven't told her yet, Darius says. I figured we could talk about it after the move. You know how she gets when things change. You know how she gets. They're talking about me as if I'm a difficult child, not the woman who made this house possible for them. I get up from my chair in silence and walk to the window. Outside, it's drizzling and the drops crawl down the glass like the tears. I won't let myself cry. 26 years working as a clerk at that dull office. 26 years saving every penny, denying myself small comforts, buying clothes at clearance sales, packing my lunches. All so I'd have something to leave my son, to have security in my old age, so I wouldn't be a burden. And now, it turns out, I'm a burden anyway. Baby, I think we need to start figuring out how we're going to tell her. Maybe we could suggest she find a smaller apartment, something more in line with her needs. You know, something more manageable. Tanya's voice sounds so casual, so practical, as if they're just deciding what to cook. Something more manageable, right? Now that they have my $18,500, now that they've gotten what they wanted, it's time for me to find something more manageable, something more in line with my needs. As if my needs don't include the love and company of my only family. The phone goes silent, and I hear Darius's footsteps coming towards the kitchen. I quickly sit down and pretend to be looking at the gas bill as if I heard nothing, as if my world hadn't just crumbled in the last 10 minutes. "Hey, Mama, how you doing?" His voice is calm, loving, as if he hadn't just finished planning to cut me out of the life I helped pay for. "I'm good, son. Are the papers for the home all set?" "Yeah, perfect. Everything's signed. We'll be able to move in soon and start fresh. A new chapter for him, for Tanya, for Mrs. Porter, and for his children. A new chapter where I don't exist. That's good, son," I say, my voice steady and quiet. "I'm happy for you." He smiles and leans in to kiss my forehead, just like he always does. That gesture that once filled me with such warmth now feels like a parody, like the kiss of Judas. "Thanks for everything, Mama. You know this wouldn't have been possible without you. Without me. But also without me from now on. How ironic." When he leaves, I'm left once again alone with these documents in my hands. The certificates confirm that my son now owns a $163,000 home, of which $18,500 came from my lifetime savings. A house where his mother-in-law will have the room with the garden view that I had envisioned for myself. I neatly fold the papers and slip them into the kitchen drawer, the same drawer where I keep receipts, medical prescriptions, and now, apparently, my misplaced dignity. But something stirs inside me. Something cold and precise, like the rainwater sliding down the window pane. For the first time in years, I don't feel like crying. I feel like doing something. That night, I couldn't close my eyes. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every warning sign I ignored. Every moment Darius and Tanya treated me as though I were transparent, and I excused it, telling myself they were simply preoccupied with their own lives. All the times they borrowed money and never repaid a single cent. But I called it helping family. I rise at 4:50 a.m., as usual, but this time it isn't out of routine. It's because I have tasks to handle, urgent ones that cannot wait. I brew my coffee in silence and sit at the kitchen table with my old ledger. It's where I usually jot down my monthly expenses, but today I'm going to write something else. I'm going to make a record of every dollar I've given Darius over the past 6 years, every loan, every bit of temporary help, every so-called emergency that was never repaid. The list keeps growing. $2,200 for the used car, $900 to fix the transmission, $9,200 for the children's school supplies and fees, $750 for Tanya's dental work, $30,200 to pay off their credit card balance, $450 here, $350 there, and now the $18,500 for the house. The total makes my head spin. $47,400 in 6 years. $47,000 I earned since I was 19, skipping vacations, buying the cheapest groceries, carrying the same handbag for 12 years. $47,000. For what? For obligatory Sunday visits where I sit silently in a corner while they chat about their lives. For grandchildren who barely acknowledge me because Grandma Lucille is so dull. For being left out of birthdays, graduations, and family gatherings because we don't want to trouble you, Mama, you don't like going out. I close the ledger and head to my bedroom. I open the closet and take out the shoebox where I keep all my vital papers, birth records, my will, insurance policies, bank statements, everything that validates my existence in the eyes of the world. I drafted my will 3.5 years ago when I turned 67. In it, Darius inherits everything. My apartment, my savings, my life insurance, even my grandmother's brooches stored in a deposit box at the bank. Everything for him because he's my only son, my only family, my very reason for being. How foolish I was. It's just past 7 o'clock when my phone rings. It's Darius. "Hey, Mama, how are you feeling this morning?" "I'm doing fine, son," I say, my voice sounding natural, though it feels like someone else is speaking through me. "You need something?" "Well, yeah. Tanya and I were talking last night and we wondered if you could help us with a little something. You know, with the move, there are a few extra expenses we didn't see coming. More money. It's always about more money." How much do you need? Just $2,800, Mama. For the movers, a couple of furniture pieces. We need paint for the rooms, just to make the place perfect before we move in next week. Next week? He's moving next week. And he hadn't even told me when. He hadn't even invited me to see the home I financed. Darius, can I ask you something? Sure, Mama, anything you want. When do I get to see the house? Silence. A silence so heavy I think the line has gone dead. Well, Mama, the place is still getting some touch-ups. Once everything's done, we'll take you there. You don't want to see it all messy, right? And when am I moving in with you? Another pause, even longer. Mama, about that. Tanya and I think maybe it'd be better if you stayed in your apartment for now. You know, until we see how we settle into the new home. The kids are going to be anxious with the change. And Tanya's stressed with her new position. Her new position? Yeah. Didn't I mention it? She got a job at a consulting firm. They're paying her, well, almost $2,200 a month. $2,200 a month. Tanya's now earning that much, but they still need my $2,800 for the move. My $2,800 that I'd have to take from my savings, which I've been stretching with a $760 monthly pension. Darius, I say quietly, I need to think about the $2,800. Think about it, Mama. You've never had to think before when I asked for help. Is everything okay? No, son. Nothing's okay. Nothing has been okay for a long time. But I was too blinded by love to see it. Everything's fine, son. I just need to check my accounts. I'll call you in a few days. In a few days? But, Mama, we need the money by tomorrow. The movers want half the payment up front. And I said, I'll call you in a few days, Darius. I end the call before he can say another word. My hands tremble not from fright, but from something sharper. Resolve. I walk over to my old desktop computer, the one Darius helped me set up 2 years ago. So you won't feel so lonely, Mama. I switch it on and wait for the slow hum of life. I'm not much good with technology, but I know enough. I know how to log into my online bank. There it is, my balance. After giving him the $18,500 for the house, I have exactly $1,200 left, $2,100 between me and complete dependence, between me and relying on a son who's planning to shut me out of his life as soon as he settles into his new home. I pick up the phone and dial the bank's customer service line. Good morning, Pacific First Bank. How may I assist you? Good morning. I need to speak to someone regarding my savings account. I'd like to make several important adjustments. Of course, ma'am. May I have your account number and your full name? As I provide the details, a sensation courses through me that I haven't felt in decades control. For the first time in years, I'm steering the direction of my money, my life, my future. How may we help you today, Mrs. Henderson? I'd like to remove my son as an authorized beneficiary from my account, and please cancel the secondary debit card under his name. I understand. Is there a reason for the change? Yes, because I've just realized I've been financing my own exclusion. Every dollar I've given has been an investment in my future loneliness. I'll mark that as personal family changes. Understood, Mrs. Henderson. I'll process these updates immediately. Anything else I can assist you with? Yes, I'd like to know my options for updating my will. The bank partners with estate attorneys who can help with that. Would you like us to mail you the details? Yes, please, send it to my registered address. When I hang up, I feel different. As if I've taken the first stride towards something new, something not yet clear but absolutely necessary. My phone rings again. Of course, it's Darius. Mama, did we get disconnected? What happened? We didn't, son. I told you I'll call you in a few days. But Mama, I need to know if you're helping me with the $2,800. The movers are pushing me hard. And Darius, have you ever wondered if I needed help with anything? What? What are you talking about, Mama? I'm worried. Are you all right? You want me to come over? That won't be necessary, son. I just need a little time to think. Time to think? Mama, I'm only asking for $2,800. It's nothing big. You've always helped me. Yes, I've always helped you. That's true. but when was the last time he helped me? I'll call you when I have an answer, Darius. Mama, seriously, you're scaring me. You've never acted like this before. I've never acted like this because I've never seen things this clearly, never felt this blend of hurt and understanding that finally gives me the courage to do what I should have done years ago. Have a good day, son. I hang up again, and this time, I power the phone off completely. I sit in my living room surrounded by the stillness of my apartment, but for the first time in years that quiet doesn't wound me. It's a silence brimming with potential, with choices waiting to be made. I study my hands, these 70-year-old hands that have labored so long, that have given so much, and I make myself a promise. They will never give another cent without receiving respect in return. Over the next 3 days, my phone will not stop buzzing. Darius calls every couple of hours. Then Tanya starts calling. After that, even the children leave me voice messages asking why I'm not answering, but I keep the phone off. I need quiet to think, to plan, to truly grasp the situation I'm in. On Wednesday morning, I finally turn it on just to check the messages. 28 missed calls, 15 texts. I read them one after another, and each one only confirms that I'm doing the right thing. Mama, I'm worried. Please call me. Darius, 7:20 a.m., Tuesday. Lucille, it's Tanya. Darius is really anxious. Is everything okay? 11:10 a.m., Tuesday. Mama, the movers need the payment today. I can't stall anymore. 2:30 p.m., Tuesday. If you don't call, I'm coming over. 8:15 p.m., Tuesday. Grandma, Dad says you're sick. Are you okay? My grandson, 9-year-old Marcus, reaching out because his father told him I must be ill. Because to Darius, the only possible reason for my silence is that something's wrong with me. But the message that hurts the most and, at the same time, crystallizes everything is the last one, sent early this morning. Mama, if this is about the house, we can talk. Maybe we can find a way for you to have your space too, but I need you to help me with the move first. Then we'll handle the rest. Darius, 6:30 a.m. Today. The rest. The other stuff is me. My place in their lives, my right to exist in the home I paid for, my dignity as both mother and human being. All of that to him is just the other stuff that can be sorted out later, once his needs are met. I dress carefully, brush my hair, and apply a bit of lipstick. Today I'm going out, and my schedule is full of meaningful appointments. The first one is at the bank at 10 o'clock sharp. I walk the 5 blocks to Harborview Bank, savouring the crisp morning air. I hadn't realised how much I'd missed walking without rushing, without constantly calculating what others need from me, just lost in my own thoughts and intentions. At the bank, Ms. Patterson, the same representative who spoke with me on the phone, greets me warmly. She's about my age, graceful, composed, professional. Good morning, Mrs. Henderson. How are you feeling after the changes we made to your account? I'm feeling wonderful, thank you. I came in because I'd like to make a few additional modifications. Of course. What can I assist you with? I'd like to open a new savings account completely independent from my current one, and I'd like to transfer $9,000 from my main account into this new one. Any particular reason? Let's just say I'd like to have clearer control over my personal finances. Ms. Patterson nods knowingly. She's probably encountered many women like me. Older, cautious, and finally learning to shield their savings from relatives who treat them as bottomless wells. An excellent decision, Mrs. Henderson. This account will include a separate debit card, and we can send the statements to an alternate address if you prefer. Yes, please. Send them to a post office box. Of course. And may I also suggest placing part of the funds in a short-term certificate of deposit? It yields better interest and offers added protection. I leave the bank lighter, steadier. $9,000 now rest in an account known only to me. Money that Darius doesn't know exists. Money he can't ask to borrow. Money that represents a fragment of freedom. A safeguard for my own future. My second appointment is at noon with attorney Marcus Cole, the lawyer the bank recommended. His office is small but orderly, and he greets me with the calm patience of someone used to guiding older clients through intimidating legal territory. Mrs. Henderson, I understand you'd like to revisit your existing will. Yes, Counsellor. I'd like to make several important revisions. I recount my story plainly without bitterness. The $47,000, the house, Darius's plans to erase me from his new life after using my funds. Cole listens quietly, jotting notes as I speak. Mrs. Henderson, he says finally, I'm afraid your situation isn't uncommon. I see cases like this quite often. What specific adjustments would you like to make? I'd like my inheritance divided differently, a portion for Darius, but I also want to donate part of it to charities, especially those supporting elderly women in precarious situations. Do you have particular organizations in mind? Not yet. Could you help me identify a few options? Of course, and I'd also suggest setting certain conditions on your son's inheritance. What kind of conditions? For instance, that he receives his share only if he fulfills specific responsibilities toward you, medical care, regular visits, including you in family matters. The notion intrigues and saddens me at once. Is this what family love must become? A contract enforced by law? Let me think about it, Counsellor. Certainly. Meanwhile, I'll draft the preliminary changes. Would next week suit you for a follow-up? When I leave his office, it's 2 p.m. and I'm hungry. But instead of hurrying home to make a sandwich, I choose something different. I step into a small cafe and sit by the window. I haven't eaten alone in public in years. Every meal out used to be with Darius and his family. And I was always the one paying. Today I order precisely what I crave, grilled trout with roasted vegetables and a glass of white wine. The total is $32, an amount that once would have felt wasteful. Today it feels like a down payment on my own happiness. As I eat slowly, I watch the street. Young couples hand in hand, mothers with strollers, elderly people walking with steady determination. Ordinary lives, ordinary joys. And I realize, I can have that kind of life too. A life that belongs entirely to me, not one orbiting around the endless demands of others. My phone vibrates. A message from Darius. Mama, I can't take this anymore. I'm coming over at 4 p.m. We need to talk. I glance at the clock. 3:15. 45 minutes to get home and prepare for a conversation I know won't be easy, but for the first time I don't feel afraid. What I feel is curiosity. I pay the bill, leave a generous tip, and step outside. The sunlight is warm on my face, and for the first time in a long while, I feel it shining for me. As I walk home, I think carefully about what I'm going to say to Darius. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to list his failures. I'm not going to stage a scene. I'm simply going to tell him the truth. I'm going to explain that I've made choices about my life and my finances, and that those choices are final. I reach my apartment at 3:50, giving myself 10 minutes to prepare mentally and emotionally for what's ahead. I sit in my favourite chair, the one near the window, and I wait, not with dread, but with the quiet assurance of someone who finally knows what must be done. At exactly 4, I hear footsteps in the hallway, followed by firm, hurried knocks. The kind of knocks that come from someone accustomed to instant attention, someone used to having doors and people open easily for them. I rise slowly, smooth my skirt, and walk to the door. Before opening it, I inhale deeply and remind myself, this is my home. This is my money. This is my life. And for the first time in years, I will act like it. When I open the door, Darius is standing there. But he isn't alone. Tanya stands just behind him, wearing that expression I know so well, the look she puts on when she wants something but dresses it in false concern. They both stare at me as if I were a lost child they've just found. Mama, thank goodness you're all right. We were so worried. Darius leans forward, reaching for a hug, but there's something strained in the gesture. Why didn't you answer your phone? Do you realize how upset we've been? Hello, Tanya, I say evenly, and she only nods. I'm not a child, Darius. You've caused me more anguish in the past 3 days than I've ever caused you in your entire life. Mama, what do you mean? We're family. We have to be able to talk about things. Talk about things. You talked about me, not with me. You discussed how I'm difficult to live with, how you'd put me in a smaller apartment, all while using the money I gave you for your so-called real family. You treated me like an inconvenience, a puzzle that needed managing, instead of a person. Darius's face drains of color. He glances at Tanya, whose expression twists with guilt. Mama, that's not what happened. We were just what, Darius? Just planning to use me and then discard me? The $18,500, the $47,400 I've given you over the years. Did you think that well would never run dry? Did you think my love was a line of credit? Mama, please, I'm sorry. We know we messed up. Tanya and I have talked, and we've changed our minds. We want you to live with us. We'll make it work, I promise. No, you won't, I reply calmly. You only want me there now because you're afraid of losing something. You don't want me out of love. You want me out of fear. But you've already lost me, son. You lost me the moment you decided I wasn't part of your real family. He starts to cry. Deep, uneven sobs. Tanya places a hand on his shoulder, whispering his name. Mama, please don't say that. I'm saying it, I answer firmly. And hear me clearly. I'm no longer the Bank of Lucille. I'm not a resource for you to drain whenever you're short on cash. The $20,800 you need for your move, find it elsewhere. You'll get nothing more from me. Not now. Not ever. Darius stares at me, his eyes red and stunned. The pleading, childlike look is gone, replaced by something raw. Disbelief. He had always assumed my love and my money were endless. And now he sees they aren't. I need you to leave now, I say, my voice shaking slightly but still steady. Mama, please, let's talk. We've talked, Darius, for 70 years, and now I'm done. He hesitates for a moment. Then he and Tanya turn and walk away. I close the door and rest my back against it, my legs trembling. I'm drained, but I've never felt more alive. I return to my chair and sit. For so long, my life revolved around others that I forgot to ask what I needed. I gave, and I forgave. I forgave him for mistreating me, and I forgave myself for allowing it. So why do I still feel the distance? Because forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. Because trust must be earned through actions, not words. When they're gone, I stand by the window for a long time. I don't know if Darius will truly change. I don't know if he'll manage a year without asking for money. I don't know if we'll ever rebuild anything real between us. But I do know this. I'm no longer afraid of solitude. I'm no longer afraid to say no. I'm no longer afraid to defend my own dignity. I pick up my phone and dial Marietta's number. Hey girl, how's your day been? Eventful, I say with a quiet laugh. Darius came to see me. And how did that go? Different. Maybe there's still some hope. I'm glad. What are your plans for the evening? I was thinking of heading to the park, maybe reading under that big oak tree I love. Mind if I join you? I'd love that. As I get ready to leave, I glance into the hallway mirror. The reflection staring back at me is that of a 70-year-old woman who finally learned that her worth isn't measured by what she gives away. A woman who found the courage to reclaim her own life. And for the first time in what feels like forever, I smile.